What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Mystic Watch, and today we got a new video after some time because one, on top of just everything I got going on, it is a pretty dead week. I don't think, I've already made a couple of Phantom Castle videos, and just using the same team again and again isn't really that interesting, so I might do some, maybe some themed teams or something like that, but that's the only other thing. So for today, what we're doing is top 5 best free-to-play units, and of course this is going to be 100% my opinion, like any other tier list. So if you guys disagree, let me know why. But other than that, it's pretty hard to do free-to-play tier lists because in the regular, summonable characters that cost pearls or whatever, it's pretty easy to rank them simply because they're distinctly powerful. So it's very easy to note out which one is more powerful than the other. But when it comes to free-to-play, a lot of them are pretty generic, and a lot of the free-to-play units tend to do similar things to the other free-to-play units, so it makes it very difficult to point out who's better. So this list is, honestly, it could be a lot of different things, but this is just the 5 that stood out to me. And of course, if I made 10, it'd be, you can see why. But for the most part, everyone's gonna have their own free-to-play tier list. This is just mine. Keep that in mind when doing this, or when going through this, but that's really it. Let's get started. So at number 5, I have the latest, well, not the latest, the somewhat latest Neji Phantom Castle reward. So if you guys did the Phantom Castle before the one that is currently going on, or the one with Hanabi, then you'd know that this Neji was the reward. Unfortunately, if you're just starting the game and don't have this Neji, then I don't know if he'll come back again, but here we go. So why do I have him at number 5? Well, for the most part, I'm not gonna go over this for too long, but it's decent stats for a short range. The Phantom Castle units tend to be understated and typically are almost all bad. And like I said, almost, not every single Phantom Castle unit's bad, but a lot of them are, like Mu, Shisui, Sasori. So it's they'll never be used. So other than that, what makes them good? And the other thing is that I'm assuming that the free-to-play units are at full dupes, because now if I assume that they're not at full dupes, it changes up the list again. So for the most part, since free-to-play units are easy to get max duped besides the Phantom Castle unit, and this Neji is the only Phantom Castle unit that I have on my list, I'm like, let me go ahead and assume that everyone has full dupes. So what does he do? 5 chakra, attacks one enemy, 30% chance of jutsu sealing for 2 turns, knocks him back. Ultimate is 10 chakra to a single enemy. 10 chakra, 7.5 times attack to a single enemy, 50% chance of jutsu sealing for 4 turns, and knocks him back. So jutsu sealing is a pretty strong, mechanic. And if you don't have any jutsu sealers, or you're running a team that doesn't have a lot of broken units on it, for your heart team, for example, so this could be pretty handy. Now, what makes him pretty good is on top of the fact that his dupe abilities are all useful, right? So you have 3 damage reduction, so at the end of the day, he's taking 15% less damage. And then on top of that, he's taking, he boosts his jutsu sealing rate by 10%. So there we go. So what does that mean now? 50% chance of sealing, and then 70% chance. And at that point, those are some pretty high numbers. So maybe not for the normal jutsu, but for 10 chakra, 70% chance of sealing is pretty damn good. So that's kind of why I have him at number 5. Number 4, we have, there we go, Obito Uchiha, Faraway Dream. And he is the impact that was just here, I think, last week. And, he came out a while ago, but he was just returned last week. So for the most part, I think people will have him. Other than that, what makes him good? For a long range unit, his max limit broken stats are pretty strong, and that's the other thing I want to know. I'm talking about max limit broken stats. I'm not going to be talking about level 100 stats. So he has pretty good stats for a long range unit, 1600 attack, and then on top of that, that's not including pills. Then you got 2 jutsus that both have good, good utility. So you have 60% chance of attack reduction for 3 turns and knocks him back, AoE. 7.5 times attack in body to all enemies in range, a 60% chance of jutsu sealing for 2 turns and knocks him back. So like I said, the reason why I had Neji was for his jutsu sealing. Now this Obito has kind of like one of each. He has 60% chance of jutsu sealing, and on top of that he has 60% chance attack reduction. And for the most part, almost no boss is immune to attack reduction. So there you have it. So a lot of people don't realize that, and I think, you know, this will start becoming more popular as more things start becoming immune, if that makes sense. Now, what else is there? Then we have the first three dupe abilities. Actually, the first 4 are all really good. So the first 3 especially reduce damage from skill by 10%. Now, skill is the element that he is weak against, making this even better. So at the end of the day, you know, when you're doing a body, for the most part, objectives in this game are pretty easy to do, besides the A and S rank of the element that is, you know, of the 5 pearl element, if that makes sense, the one that is harder for you to beat. So if you're doing skill, I'm talking about a heart objective. If you're doing heart, I'm talking about a body objective, and for body, skill objective. So having a skill reduction makes him almost a must-have on any of those body-only, you know, objectives. And then you have the boost attack reduction by 10%, bringing this up to 70% attack reduction, and it's AoE as well for 3 turns. Then restores 1 chakra. Moving to the next map isn't anything too crazy. At number 3, we have Yugito, which is almost the same exact reason as Kabuto, but what makes her difference is that she has a 60% chance of attack down for 5 turns, which isn't, you know, it's like 2 more turns than the Obito, but on her ultimate for more chakra. But the biggest reason is, one, pretty decent stats. She's more tanky than she does damage. You bring her for this right here. Reduces damage from body enemies by 10%, and she has 5 of them for a total of 50%. It doesn't really work that way. It's like 46%, because what happens is it'll reduce damage once. So let's say you take 100 damage, then you reduce damage down to 90, and then it'll reduce the 90 down by 10% to 81. Then it'll reduce the 81 down, then it'll reduce that down, then it'll reduce that down. So it's not just like a total of 50% reduction. It goes one line at a time. Now, other than that, this is really the main reason why, right? So it makes her pretty much, if you, for whatever reason, if you manage to farm 2 of her, or, you know, you bring a friend, you bring her, and it just makes doing these objectives very, very easy. These difficult objectives, and I wouldn't say easy, it makes it a lot more doable for people that, you know, don't have a busted ass box or anything. So that's why I have her at number 3. And the main reason she's over Obito is simply because she has a full 50% rather than Obito having 30%. So I just value that more. Now the next one is, I don't think anyone's going to be questioning why he's here. We have Curse Mark II Sasuke, the first level 150 raid mission that existed back when 1 Till Naruto came out. Only makes sense that he's busted. So what makes him so good is literally this. 2 perfect dodges for 3 turns, restores 7 chakra, making him the ultimate staller in this game. You can do 2 unit runs and have him in the front, and or have 2 of him and then have someone in the back, and just, you know, you'll never die. So, and on top of that, he has 2 pretty good dupe abilities, reducing damage by 5% for a total of 10%. The other ones are okay. And on top of that, he does good damage on his ultimate against bravery specifically. So for the most part, what makes him so good is that just the normal jutsu. That thing is busted. We never saw it again for a good reason. You know, he came out last, I think, December, around that time, December, January, and you know, it's been half a year and we haven't seen literally any jutsu that remotely like relates to this one. So, you know, they kind of understand, Bandai, that they made this a little too weird, wacky. The only reason you might not see people using it is because the difficulty of the missions themselves might not be too hard, where people need to use the Sasuke. And the other thing is, like, some people just don't like using him since he takes forever to get a mission done. Because you know you'll get it done. The problem is it just takes so damn long. And then at number 1, I don't think anyone is going to question this one for sure. We have Jiraiya, the Toad Ninja. So since this guy's release, actually when he came out, no one thought he was that good. And it took like the next 2 or 3 like missions or like impacts to come out until people started realizing like, oh wait, he's kind of busted. And what makes him so busted is that I'm pretty sure if you guys have seen any of my other tier list videos, you will know that he has a 70% chance of slip damage. Sorry, 100% chance of slip damage with all 4 dupe abilities. And then he has a 70% chance of immobilization with the last dupe ability as well. And he does that for 5 chakra. And what ends up happening is that if you have 3 Jiraiyas up front, you can literally just chain these together. You can simply just chain them to generate chakra non-stop and constantly keep immobilizing. So that's the kind of the thing what you do. And on top of that, the slip damage is extremely useful for bosses. And then the immobilization just gets you to the boss pretty much, right? His immobilization alone can get you to the boss. And since his release, it's pretty much like he's been a must-have on any bravery team. Like if you go into multiplayer, you'll only see people asking for Jiraiya plus, you know, Sage 6 Pass Naruto, 1 Tail Naruto, someone else, right? For bravery only. So Jiraiya pretty much like has destroyed the meta in Naruto Blazing. And you know, until they make things that are more like, until they make regular units have immobilization resistance and things like that, Jiraiya is going to continuously be a top tier unit. Because the big thing about it is not just the immobilization and things like that, it's the fact that the jutsu hitbox is large, right? So having a 5 chakra large jutsu that can pretty much hit everyone on the map at the same time, generate chakra, and then on top of that immobilize them to, so it's like, in a sense, he can stall while not stalling at the same time, because the fact that he generates chakra means that the whole purpose of stalling is to heal and to generate chakra, right? So if he's generating chakra by doing his jutsus, he's literally speeding up the process of the game. And then on top of that, if you put him in the back row, 120 HP buddy healing. So it makes it so that, you know, you bring 3 Jiraiyas, which is really not that hard. Like 2 Jiraiyas and a friend is pretty common. So a lot of people have like 3, 4. I've seen someone with 6, you know, like he just has 6 Jiraiyas just chilling out in his box. I'm like, okay, you know, all ultimate. But yeah, you kind of get the idea at this point. So hopefully you guys like the list. If there's anything you disagreed with, if you didn't like the positioning, or if there's some units that I missed that, you know, are blatantly more better than these ones, let me know. Because there is a lot of free-to-play units, and there's not really a free-to-play unit like list in a sense that I could find. So I just had to kind of go through the entire character list, and anything that popped out, I would try to think about. That was really it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys want me to do for my next video. Sorry if I sound congested. I should have said that at the beginning of the game. I'm having some allergy issues. But yeah, I'll see you all next time. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out.